Welcome to my show. A guest here. Her name is Kirana Sidin. Mrs. Kirana,
Yeah,
how are you doing, ma?
I'm fine, thank you. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
And
And I
also,
can't wait to have a conversation with you. Yes.
thank you so much for the time and the
Yes. Thank you.
opportunity.
Thank
Firstly, you
you.
are an author. You are
Yeah.
also a strategic life coach. Can you
Yeah.
please, Mrs. Kirana, discuss more about yourself and how you're doing
Okay.
right now, Mrs. Kirana?
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. Yeah, I'm Kirana Sidin, and I'm an author and strategic life coach. And I think the work I do today is really the result of a rather unexpected journey of myself. Okay, I spent many years working actually before, yeah, as a government worker, also entrepreneur, also in the private sector. But then I stepped away from my professional career to focus more on my family and raising my children. So during those years, yeah, I had more space to read, to write, and explore ideas that had always interested me. Probably more like philosophy, psychology, parenting, personal money management, and also the most ultimately is personal growth. Okay. And then over time, I started asking myself some bigger question about my own life. What makes a life feel meaningful? And then what does it mean to live intentionally? Okay. And what does a good life actually look like isn't when nobody is watching? The question like that. So those questions eventually became the foundation of my writing and also my coaching. And right now I'm building on that work altogether. Okay. I'm coaching clients, speaking and doing more podcast conversation like this with you, Timmy Tope, okay, and developing my good life framework. I'm also now like writing my second book, which is really about the idea that growth doesn't stop just because we've built a life that already good. And that, but outside of all of that, I'm still very much a mother of five, okay? So my days are not all about books and philosophy. No, I'm still running errands, yeah, making sure everyone has what they need, checking that my kids are okay, yeah, and then like figuring what's for the lunchbox for tomorrow, what's for breakfast tomorrow. Yeah, all the very ordinary things that come with raising five children. And then honestly, I think that's what keeps me grounded. Okay, the ideas I talk about are separate from my real life, and then I'm trying to practice them in the middle of it too. That's my what the story from me.
It
Tim
must
Tapi, yes.
must be a very busy mother. It's absolutely not easy to
Yes.
have a lot of tasks, being a life coach, do a lot of coaching and encouragement to people out there, taking care of the kids, and also making sure everything actually go into place. Absolutely uneasy, which is why I'm very much glad you actually even had the opportunity to also write
Thank-
a book as well, and which
yeah.
is the Cheers for a Good Life.
Mhm.
Strong mind, calm heart, chosen life. Can you please,
Yeah.
Mrs. Kirana, discuss more on the book? And do you also plan to write more books in the coming future, Mrs. Kirana?
Yeah, so the book itself is more like the collection of the personal essay that I already wrote before, like probably in 2 years, yeah. Because of I'm reading every day, and then I reflect more. I do have like a moment for rethink of all the assumption that I get before reading, and then I like to get to know that reflection. Is it like right or not? Is it like my assumption is wrong or right? So like the reading, and then the because of the reading is like a really shape the way of I think. Okay, it's like assumption of my it's like questioning of my assumption, and then like because of the reading, and then I write in the blog. Okay, so I think it's happened for like 2 years, and then it becomes hundreds. And basically that book, Cheers for a Good Life, came from that collection of my personal essay in the blog. But I give like more a home for it, like this chapter is belong to this part, like these stories belong to this idea, this theme, more like that. So it's like more like refining more in the essay into the book. Yeah, and then but the idea is the same. All of the chapter is speaking about how we build a good life by only like a simple moment in our daily life, okay? And then how we can like build it only by choosing intentionally something that probably more aligned to your values, something that probably truly matters for you, something that probably important to you. And then I connected with the philosophy more often, more like stoicism, and also sometimes psychology. I like to bring Adler on it, and also probably some pop culture. I do like to splash little bit splash pop culture in my writing. Yeah, it's like more you can find like Jen Austen over there. You can find TLC over there. You can find Beyonce. You can, yeah, something like that, pop culture. Yeah, and then I want to say that it's more like part philosophy, part essentialism. I also love to get my idea back to the concept of essentialism. And also it's like part cozy conversation. I don't want my book feels more like preachy. I want it feels like you just like having conversation with a friend that probably already been in that situation, and it's trying to inform you, yeah, this is what I already done. And then, yeah, this is the lesson that I get. Yeah, so this is something more like that. Yeah. And then in the future, yeah, of course I'm planning to write more books. Already now I'm finished doing my second book, and then the third will be coming. Yeah, that's in the future. Yeah, so that's my book is really mean Timmy.
Exactly. Actually building or writing a book that can actually be a source of growth and actually be an
Mm,
interesting one as well, gathering a lot of
mm,
experiences and a lot of things that can actually inspire someone. It's profoundly
yeah.
huge and beautiful. It shows a lot of huge creativity and a lot of work that was being done into it, which is why I would like
Yes.
to drive to the point of science
Mm,
because your
mm,
book asks whether
mm,
we are
mm,
truly living intentionally or
mm.
simply meeting expectations. So, what do you
Yeah.
think are the clearest signs that someone is living on autopilot rather
Mm,
than building a life they
mm.
consciously choose? Mr. Skiram.
Yeah, yeah, I think there are signs we can see from the outside long before someone actually says, I'm living on autopilot. Yeah, sometimes it's a life that looks perfectly successful, but strangely doesn't feel like it belongs to the person living it. Probably like this. They have the right career, the right milestone, the right responsibilities, but most of their choices seem to be driven by what is expected, okay, what is convenient, or what they've always done, okay? And then we might see it in probably in how they spend their time. They're constantly busy, but rarely seem to have time for what they say matters to them. Yeah. And then we see it in the commitment they keep accepting even when they're clearly stretched. Okay. And then like we see someone like pursuing a goal long after it has stopped being meaningful, or staying in a situation simply because changing direction feels too disruptive. No, that's the from the outside. And then probably, and sometimes we can see it in the language they use. Something like this, probably something like this. I have to. Okay. That's just what people do. And then probably it's too late to change. Or, yeah, this is just how my life is, that kind of language. Yeah. there may be very little sense of choice in the way they describe their own lives internally. Yeah, I'm telling you before is from the outside, but internally they may feel disconnected, okay, or uncertain about why they're doing what they're doing, right? And then but in externally, yeah, everything can look completely fine. That's what makes autopilot difficult to recognize, okay? So but here's the point. I don't think living on autopilot is inherently bad. No, yeah, we need routines. Yeah, we can consciously examine every decision we make, but the problem is when our defaults, yeah, that autopilot, our default, start making the important decision for us. That's what the biggest problem is. So one of the question I encourage people to ask is like this: if someone look at the way I'm spending my time, the choice I'm making, and the life I'm building, would they see the things I say actually matter to me? That's the question that I want people to ask for themselves. Because ultimately, intentional living isn't about having a perfectly planned life. Yeah, it's not the way it's work. Okay, it's about whether there's a meaningful connection between what you say, what you value, and the life your choices are actually creating. So that's, I think, the clearest sign about living on autopilot and in doing international living. Yes.
Thank you so much. You actually made us understand our outward sign and also our inward
Mm-hmm.
part as well. Because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people have this outwardness in everything that they do. They believe everything is great and perfect, but on the inside, it looks
Yes.
disconnected. It looks like there are
Yes.
a
Yes.
lot of issues that needs to be resolved.
Yes.
And actually
Yes.
trying our
Correct.
best to work on that can actually help us
Mm-hmm.
unlock a lot of things that we actually never imagined in our life. And
Yes.
that is why I would
Yes.
like to
Correct.
also know how someone can also tell whether they're
Mm-hmm.
actually making that meaningful life as well. Because many people build successful career, but
Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
still feel something is missing.
Yes.
How do you think
Yes.
someone can tell whether they are creating a genuine, meaningful life or simply just
Mm-hmm.
collecting achievements? Mrs. Kirana.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think the clearest way to see the difference is to look at what each one actually asks us. Okay, this one will come like this. Yeah, collecting achievement will ask, did I get it? The title, the promotion, the milestone, the recognition worth mentioning. Yeah, all of that fancy achievement. It's fundamentally about accumulation, stacking up wins the way we stacked up trophies on a shelf, something like that. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to achieve things. No, I'm not saying it's bad. No, it's nothing wrong about it. But collecting treat each achievement as a separate item disconnected from the ones before and after it. We can have an extraordinary list of achievement and still have no idea what any of them add up to. So something like that. And then in the contrary, a meaningful life asks a completely different question. Did this reflect who I actually am? And does it connect to everything else I'm building? That's the different question. Okay. It's not about accumulation, it's about coherence. Okay. Whether the pieces of our life are actually talking to each other, or whether we've just got an impressive pile of unrelated wins. That's for achievement. Okay. So here's a way to feel the difference directly. Think about achievement we've genuinely proud of, and then ask ourselves like, could I explain why this mattered to me specifically, or would my explanation work for literally anyone. I got promoted is a collectible achievement, okay? It barely needs an explanation, right? And it would sound the same coming from almost anyone. But I turned down the promotion because it would have meant less time with my kids during a season I'll never get back. That's Timitopi specific, okay? That's coherent with an actual value. Nobody else explanation would sound exactly like that one, okay? That's only yours. The explanation is only yours to begin. And there are a few practical tests actually use to tell the difference in the moment, not just in theory. Okay, the first, if no one ever found out about this achievement, okay, no announcement, no recognition, nobody impressed, and then would I still want it? If yes, yeah, we're probably building something real there. Okay. If no, or if we notice a flicker of hesitation before we can even answer, that's worth paying attention to. That hesitation is usually where collecting hides. Okay. And then the second is pay attention to what happens the day after we hit the goal. Real meaning tends to leave us something, a sense of alignment, of having done something consistent with what our value, even if the excitement already fade away. Okay, so pure collection leaves us nothing, but only the next target, the more achievement to get. Okay, and then the third, separate two question, people tend to merge into one. Like this. Am I good at this? And does this matter to me? We can be excellent at something and still be building an achievement pile instead of life because competence and meaning aren't the same currency. Okay. So, but here the thing, I want to be clear about something because I don't want this to sound anti ambition. No, because it isn't. I'm not against ambition at all. No. I think achievement can be very wonderful. Yeah, we cannot like think that it's not wonderful. Indeed, it's wonderful. But the question is, are our achievements serving the life we want? Or has our life become a servant to our achievement? That's the question that I want the listener to have before you like simply collecting the achievement. So for me, that's the difference. A good life isn't necessarily the most impressive life from the outside. No, it's a life more feel honest when we're only the person looking at it. Yeah.
That is very much powerful, Mrs. Kirana,
Thank you.
because
Thank you.
asking ourselves the right question, is this
Hmm.
achievement something beneficial to me, or am I actually comfortable with this achievement that
Hmm.
I'm actually
Yeah.
having? Is very
Yeah.
much powerful. Achievements are great, but if it's
Yes.
something that doesn't actually align with us, doesn't actually
Yeah.
give us our own fulfillment, then it's best for us to provide a rethink
Hmm.
towards it. Achievement should
Yeah.
be something that we feel embraced and joyous of, and we
Yeah.
actually see the impact on the society as well. Not something
Yes.
that is
Yes.
actually put upon us to actually
Yes.
bring out for ourselves. We definitely need to ask ourselves the right questions and know how
Yes.
we
Yes.
can make the drastic shift as well. Lastly, I
Yes.
would just like to drive to in this world of full urgency, distraction, and also outside expectation. From the
Hmm.
experience you've had, what practical questions do you think can
Hmm.
help people decide
Hmm.
what truly deserves their time, their
Hmm.
energy, and their
Yeah.
attention, Mrs. Kiran?
Yeah. The the question that I'd like to ask for the people, yeah, if they like to determine something really matters and deserve our attention. Yeah, correct. That's your question, right? I actually have a name for this. I call it purpose filter. It's something that I created. Yeah, it's a purpose filter. And it's three questions. Ask in order before I let something have my time, my energy, and my attention. The first question is this essential to me? I like the essentialism. So this is the most important question that I have to ask every time that I'm facing something. Is this essential to me? If yes, we can move to the next question. If no, that's already the answer. Just say no. We don't need to keep interrogating something that already felt the first taste, right? A lot of people skip this step entirely. They just let something all the way through the to is this a good opportunity without ever asking whether it was essential in the first place, right? So many people like that. If it's not essential, nothing downstream matters. The filter has already answered. That's the first question. And then if the first question is successful, it's like a green light, okay. And then the second question is, does this help me grow? That's the second question. And I want to be honest about this one. Not everything essential grows us. No. Some essential things are simply obligation. And that's fine, okay? Obligation are part of life too. But the best yeses just do both, okay? They matter and they move you forward. If something essential but keeps you exactly where you are, I think that's worth noticing, okay? And then the third question is, does this bring a good impact to my beloved ones or others? Because I don't think an intentional life, a chosen life, is only about our own direction. No, it's also about whether the choices we're making create ripples worth creating. Okay, we can build an intentional life that's essential to you, to us, that grows us, and still ask whether it's actually good for the people around it. Because the one that I really believe, Tibi Tope, a good life isn't built in isolation from everyone else's. No, you need someone, you need people around you to build the good life, okay. So here's what I think matters most about how this filter actually works. If the answer is no at the first question, that's the sign. Whatever life is throwing at you at that moment, however convincing the invitation, however socially comfortable the yes would feel, you can let it go. Okay. So we don't need all three questions to agree before we allowed to say no. One clear no at one clear no at question one is enough. The filter itself already answered that for you. Yes.
Mrs. Kirana, I do appreciate you for that powerful questions, honestly speaking,
Yeah.
because those questions actually bring us back to ourselves. It actually provides us to be in the position to reflect
Yeah.
on ourselves and actually
Yeah.
bring
Yeah.
us in the position whether
Yeah.
we are actually aligned with our own personal values and actually
Yeah.
saying no. It's not easy to do that. Bringing that no perspective is absolutely not easy, but it's something that we actually need to build as a source of
Mhm.
adaptation for us to grow, become better,
Yes.
and also provide
Mhm.
ourselves the certain answer. Then we have the answers to these questions, then we can see
Mhm.
how we can navigate, build ourselves, and see what we can actually restructure or
Yeah.
replace in the life we find
Mhm.
ourselves at that.
Exactly.
Since
Yeah.
Korean, there's also a question normally asked during the end of the show. From our
Okay.
forefathers, from our ancestors, there are a lot of
Mhm.
beautiful things that do exist
Mhm.
during our
Mhm.
forefathers' time that is
Mhm.
missing in our time today. If there
Mhm.
is anyone or anything you would like to bring back to our time today, what do you think that will be, Mrs. Korean?
You know, I do not like to think about the yesterday. Yeah, I live today. Yeah, but yeah, you know that wisdom. Yeah, but we cannot like deny that the so many wisdom in the past that we can bring in the nowadays life. Yeah, and then probably I'd like to think about more like philosophy in the ancient wisdom for philosophy that I feel still practical for us nowadays. Yeah, it's very, very practical for me, even though it's happened in the past. Okay, so this is come from stoicism philosophy, stoicism, and it say like, uh there is something within our control, and there's something also beyond our control, and that if something more like beyond our control, we cannot anything about it. So but yeah, but what we can control is our response, our reaction to that event that might probably not pleasant for you, or probably make you angry, probably make you anxious. Your That's something that you can control by yourself, your reaction. Control yourself, okay, instead of just uh denying, just like telling that the event is so wrong, and then I'm not you don't have any right to do this to me, something like that. But there is something we cannot control, because if we always manage to control it, it's just only a waste of time. It's like make ourselves more like not in the calm place. Okay, so but if we like can control it, yeah, we can like get the better response to that situation that probably not pleasant for us, and then we can look into ourselves again, and then we can react more calmly. We pause for a while, and then we slow down for a while to give a meaning to that event, even though probably it's not a pleasant. And then by the end of the day, you will feel more calmer life. Okay, you will feel like a life that you do right now is more aligned with all of your value. That's the ancient wisdom that I'd like to bring in this modern busy world today from stoicism. Thank you so much, Temi Toby.
All right, Mrs. Kirana, there is nothing more beautiful than we actually living a life of calmness. When we are calm
Yeah.
enough, we'll be in the position to actually know what to do at the right moment. Calmness
Yes.
is like one of the greatest gifts because by the time one is falling into the wrong trap, one observe it more early. By the time one is
Mhm.
trying to also realize the kind of achievement that can be
Yes.
valuable to
Mhm.
him or her,
Yes.
one also observe it very much early, and which shows the sense of wisdom. When
Yeah.
someone is calm, someone will definitely be wise because he or she tries his
Exactly.
best to check every single surrounding before action
Mm.
is being taken. And I do want to
Yes.
thank you for the time and the opportunity for us to have this profound and insightful
Yeah.
conversation today. Thank
Thank
you
you so much.
so much, Mrs. Kiran.
It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you again for having me, Temitope. It's been nice to be here. Yes.
All right, Mrs. Kirana. Have a wonderful day, Mrs. Kirana. Bye bye.
Bye bye.